Monster Hunter. A game that started on PlayStation and now has gotten to the Wii, Wii U, and now the Nintendo 3DS. Well, actually, it did a while ago on Monster Hunter 3, but now it's out on Monster Hunter 4. And I'm loving this, guys. I kind of wish that they would just release these games on PlayStation 2 because that's where it started. I think they deserve, definitely, well, yeah. I mean, that's where it started, and I think it should still stay on the PlayStation, but I love having this game on the DS and the Wii. Of course, this one isn't on the Wii, unfortunately, but maybe the 5th game will be. But anyway, so, since I'm, like, really into Monster Hunter right now, I ordered a awesome action figure from Revoltech, which is, of course, the Revoltech Rathalos figure. Why did I forget that? Anyway, ever since I got Monster Hunter 3 on the Wii, when I ran into the Rathalos finally, I loved that freaking thing. I even made a decrepit head that I'll show you later. I was trying to make a figure of it, but I couldn't because I sucked at sculpting. Of course, I made the eyeball move, so that was innovative. So anyway, so finally I got one, and well, we'll have to take a look at it. But let's take a look at the box first. Sorry about the camera position a second ago. I didn't notice how bad it was, so hopefully it's better now. But here we have the box of the Rathalos from Revoltech. It's actually a fairly simple box, which I was not really expecting from Monster Hunter. You know, the game with really good cutscenes and probably good concept art and all that stuff. You'd think they would have had something like cool art and stuff, but they don't seem to have that. But they do have pictures of the figure. Like, here's the front, and here's the figure, I think. Yeah, it's obviously the figure. What else would it be? But yeah, that looks pretty cool. And since it's so I mean, they went for a good simplistic look to it, the box. So yeah. And then we have the basically what it shows all that the accessories it comes with, and some of the poses you can make with it. So, and more accessories and some articulation. So yeah, that's all good and fun. And the little, you could take apart the tail and make it look like the little hunter cuts the tail off, which this picture shows that it's really detailed on the cut tail, but it's not that detailed, definitely. They might have photoshopped that, or that's the prototype. The prototype always is usually better. Just like the Predator from Revoltech, I reviewed them a few years ago. So, so I guess his how you say it in Japanese is Leo Leos or something. Leos. I don't know. That seems like a cool name though. Other than Rathalos, of course. I like that name, but if that's how they call him in Japan, I mean that's pretty cool. So yeah, that's just the box. It has him on the sides. There's a cool red picture on the side of him. And then it shows the Revoltech joints thingy again, like the Predator. So anyway, yeah, why don't we look at the figure now? So here is the Rathalos figure. If you can see it, I hope you can. I'm sure you can. And the box again over there. I'll just put that somewhere on my bed. And Monster Hunter 4 over there. And here's the accessories it comes with. Of course, the base is also the accessory. So there you go. That's basically all it comes with. It comes with this little guy. It's super tiny. I'm not gonna review the whole thing like this. I'm gonna do my usual thing. But I thought this whole little intro thing with me in front of the camera is more personal. So yeah. I kind of like that more. Then you got the little Revoltech box, which is usually more useless than it is useful, but this time it's actually pretty good. You can fit the fireball in here, the severed tail, and I bet I could fit the little guy. I haven't had him in there because I've been having the Rathalos and the guy fighting and stuff. Well, apparently he can't really fit in there because, well, he can't. But, I mean, these are important pieces, like the little severed tail, so, yep. So there's that. And the Rathalos figure. One thing about this is that it's not like the Predator. During the review of the Predator, I said that the joints were a little loose, kind of wiggly. In fact, here he is right now. I'll get him right here off screen. Yes. Oh yeah, and size comparison. Yeah, this guy is small. I will do more size comparisons later. But right now, I'll just show you this. As you can see, this guy is just kind of loose here and there. Everything is kind of, well, mostly the chest and stuff. They're kind of wobbly wobbly. So that was a problem I had with the Predator and stuff, and I didn't like that very much. This figure right here, though, is pretty, I'd say, stiff, and you know, it'll hold its pose very well. It's not like the Predator figure where it has a loose joint and makes it kind of wibbly wobbly or anything. It's pretty good in terms of that. So, yeah. It's just that he's very small. Pretty small. So, and this guy is even smaller. The little not soldier, but the little hunter. Which is also a Rathalos armored hunter. You can definitely tell it is. On my camera, though, you probably wouldn't be able to, so. Well, now that we've just kind of introduced the figure, let's take a closer look at it. So, here we go. Here's the Rathalos a little closer, and definitely a better right. Wow, that looks pretty good, actually. Looks great. I'm glad the lighting's working out. This is how I should do reviews from now on. Anyway, so obviously it looks great. Well, let's get on to the accessories first so that we don't have to deal with that later. So, he'll just be in the background being awesome and stuff. So, here we have the little guy, which you can actually see what he looks like a little, surprisingly a little. So he has the spikes on his shoulders, his sword, it looks like a great sword. And he has actually a nice little detail for such a small figure. But he's tiny, like, well, I'll show you in a second, but then here's the box again. Here's the severed tail piece. Just plug it into the back. I haven't actually done it yet, so, god damn. My cat just made a loud noise and it scared me, but anyway. I haven't actually tried that yet, so I'll show you that, I guess, in the video. The fireball, it's kind of cartoony looking in a way, but I mean, how else are you gonna make it look? That would have been kind of cool if it was see-through-ish color, or, you know, plastic. That would have been kind of cool. But it looks pretty cool, I guess. I haven't tried that either. Then the box, the Revoltech box. It's the most ingenious thing ever made. You know, I've heard people you can say that you can stack these on more boxes, you know, the same box over and over. I don't know why people saying that, because you can't. Literally, you can't. I mean, yeah, you could put it on another Revoltech box, but they don't literally stack like they're supposed to or something. It doesn't seem like it, unless if I'm doing it wrong. Oh, I think I know what they mean. Oh, I'll show you that later too. But, yeah, we'll see about that. Then we got a random soldier. Woohoo! Because I'm going to size compare that with the little guy. So let's do that right now. So, as you can see, here is the Monster Hunter, and here is the guy. So he's like half his size. So he's kind of small, actually. I was expecting the hunter to be at least this size, but this is small, therefore that is also small. Smaller than you'd think, anyway. And then here's another soldier, but it's a little different. This is a tiny itty-bitty soldier, and they're both at the same spot, by the way. They're not, it's not a weird size thing. But, yeah, this guy is actually smaller than the Monster Hunter. I thought the Monster Hunter was going to be as small as this guy, which he almost is, but, actually, he practically is. It's just that his legs are stretched out and all that stuff, so. But this is a soldier from the Trendmasters Godzilla Attacks New York thing I reviewed a few months ago. So, yeah. Very small. So yeah, he's nicely detailed for a tiny thing. I kind of wish he was articulated somewhat or something. I don't know, something. But you know, they could have easily not had this guy anyway. It's kind of cool to have him posed with the Rathalos, but he's not painted. He's just red color, kind of dull looking. So I might repaint that. And if I do, I'll let you guys know. I'll have some sort of thing pop up about right now and saying that I painted it. And you can check it out on my DeviantArt page, which will, I guess, be in the description below when I do paint it. So, yeah. Because it's cool and stuff. And the problem is, I'm tempted not to, though, because it's sort of like a soldier, you know. It's just a base color, but it's kind of cool like that in a way, kind of like board game pieces or something. I don't know what's with that kind of thing, but yeah, that's the only problem I'm having. Yeah, like I don't know if I should really do it or not, but yeah. So technically speaking, that's not all the accessories. So let's go over the base, the stand for the figure. As you can see, this is the base. You have to put it together, and it's kind of weird. Now, this is sort of a problem. This base is nice but flimsy. It's not quite like a Figma base with the cool, I don't know, screws inside of it to where it makes it stiffer and make the figure basically not move. And yeah, it does do the weird wibbly wobbly thing. Though, technically speaking, the figure doesn't do wibbly wobbly, but this does. This definitely does. That's the problem. The figure doesn't have that problem, but this does. And, so, let's see, you gotta put it together like that. There's two pieces like that. And then this middle piece. Now, also, you put this stick-looking piece on top of this. And that's basically it. And then it has two Revoltech joints to be able to move it around. I really think they should have just went Figma base. I don't know why they didn't. NECA even did a little with their dog alien, and even though it's kind of fragile, it's pretty good. So, yeah. But this is kind of skinny and not good because the Revoltech joints kind of buckle under the pressure. Because the figure, even though it's small, the wings are probably the thing that makes it heavy. It's got a tad bit of weight to it because the wings are made of rubber, which is good and cool. Although I don't know if it is good because it might deteriorate after a long time. I never really thought of that. But it's sort of like the soft plastic they use on NECA figures. So I don't think it will do much. hopefully not. Anyway, yeah, that's the only problem with this base. So it's hard to make him stand because of it. So really, if you can, I'd say try to customize a freaking Figma base to make it work with this guy, because it is weird. But it's doable still, so it's not that bad. So there's that. And I don't know why there's pegs for where you put the middle piece right here. But then there's another peg right here. I have no idea why. I still haven't figured that out. I don't know why. I just don't. I'm trying to figure that out. But, yeah. That's basically the base. So, I guess we can get on to the figure finally, huh? Okay, so I forgot to mention that there's this part of the base that you have to connect to his tail back here. See that? It's a weird, odd piece that curls around right here. You have to put it at the base of the tail, or it won't work too well. It's hard getting the tail off, just saying. So, and that's that is a problem. It is a pain in the butt to get the tail off, at least for mine. But yes, as you can see, this guy is really cool looking. Really nice looking. His jaw can move and stuff. Let's see. Let's go over articulation first. So, so you got the tail. It's a little hindered at the base of the tail because of the base thing, you know, the little stick thing at the base, but it can go up and down pretty good. And of course clicks because of the Revoltech joints, but this one doesn't click because I think it's a smaller joint connecting it, and for some reason smaller joints on Revoltech figures do not do that, click. So yeah, but mind you that every single one of these pieces that move are a Revoltech joint. There's no ball joints, there's no special joint, which sometimes they seem to make for some figures, but for this they just went all out Revoltech joints. So it's kind of weird how that works, but they hide them actually pretty good. And of course there's all sorts of sizes, so they're all hidden in their own way. So then you got the leg that clicks. Now technically when you move it forward it doesn't click, of course, because it's a Revoltech joint. It only clicks when you do this. Then you could turn it like that, and then there's this part of the leg, and then this. And of course, since it's a Revoltech joint, you can go like that if you want. I think that probably wouldn't be a good idea though. And then the cool thing is about this figure, the toes articulated. Now, not individually. I was wondering about that too, but they don't individually move. Now this toe over here does. Now that's cool. And of course, this is a Revoltech joint right here, not a ball joint. I thought it was, but it isn't. Now this joint right here is just a weird joint they made for this figure. I don't know why they didn't go with a Revoltech joint then, because this kind of needs it, because this is a loose piece in a way. So that's not too good, but yeah, it's still cool. And the detail's pretty good on this stuff. But of course we'll go over detail a little bit later. So, there's the legs, and the tail, and the wings. The wings are probably like one of the most important things about this. So, you can make it go in like weird poses like that, or like this, depending on how you turn the Revoltech joints. Now, technically, you can actually make one of these click at some point and make it do a weird, yeah, there we go. Make him like do that a little more, fold his wing a little bit, but that's basically it. You cannot fold it out like a certain other figure that I will mention later, definitely talk about. But the detail on the wings is nice, although the color is a bit out of place here and there because it's somewhere super light, which is something I'll go over in a little bit. But the texture, it has nice texture on the wings itself. It has a nice little black wash so that the cracks have a little detail in it, so it brings out the detail in that. And yeah, they look great. And of course they have that cool fiery kind of pattern, so that's cool. Let's see. And then, so that's basically the, did I fix that? Yeah, I did. Also, if you do decide to make that do that, move like that, it will make the wing kind of stiff after a while. If you leave it like that, you're gonna have to repose it and get into a different pose. It'll kind of stick in that pose for a while, though, if that made any sense at all. Anyway, so here's the head and neck. So right here, it can move kind of like at the shoulder area, but its neck moves with a Revoltech joint, of course. You can see the inside actually a little. And these little shoulder things move along with it. And by the way, you want to be careful with those because they're just sort of stuck on them. So there's that. So that's pretty cool. Since you can do that, it's pretty useful. Now, the only thing about the head and tail actually is that you cannot make it go like that. You have to like turn it like that if you want it to be sideways or something. So that's a problem it has, definitely. It can basically only go forward and backwards, both in the tail and neck. But if you turn because you can turn this little base thing, even though it looks weird, you could turn it a little bit and then turn the head, and that will turn and it'll do a nice little pose for you. So yeah, and of course, let's see, the head can move up and down pretty good, as you can see. And then the jaw is even articulated. That didn't feel very good. Oh, okay, that's why. Anyway, the tongue is even articulated, which you can take the tongue out, and that's how you put the fireball in. Ooh, my arm's getting tired of holding this guy. Sorry. So it looks great. The paint on the face is like really nice. Pretty good, pretty good. And the jaw is articulated with a Revoltech joint too. As you can see, there's a weird piece down here. I thought that was like some sort of special piece for articulation, but it's just a piece for the Revoltech joints to connect. That's actually, I didn't think the jaw moved with the Revoltech joint. I thought it was just a hinge, kind of like the toes. I kind of question these guys. Ooh, that looks cool. These guys, you know, decisions, but it's not hurting the figure. It still works, so yeah. So yeah, you can make him go like this, which he has done in the game. So yeah. Very, very nice. It's too bad the wings don't move a little and the tail and head doesn't go side to side like normal. But yeah. And of course the toes, since they're articulated with a Revoltech joint, you can turn it in odd positions, just like the legs and the everything else, basically. So that's pretty good and cool and stuff. And anyway, let's see here. So that's basically it for articulation, I guess. Let's take a little closer look. So the detail is pretty good on this figure. It's just that the paint is sort of iffy sometimes. Some areas are dark and that's good, because in the game I've noticed that the character is dark red. This figure, though, is very bright, actually, quite bright. But once in a while, you will notice that it's lighter or darker in some areas. This part is super light, but then this part is intentionally being darker. But, I mean, look at this. This is darker right here, and then this is suddenly lighter. That's the problem here. Once in a while, that pops up a lot, and that's a bad thing, definitely. Because this figure turned out to be 80 bucks. Now, technically speaking, it's about 40 when it came out anyway. But it's been out for a while now. Quite a while, I think. So, yeah. It got a little more expensive. I found one for about 60 bucks. But since it was in Japan, the shipping was 24 bucks or something like that. So it added up and made 80. So that's not fun. But I really wanted to get a Rathalos finally. So I'm very happy I did. But for a $40 figure, this should be better. The paint should be a little consistent. I mean, a NECA figure for 20 bucks is a lot more consistent, usually. And about the same detail, actually, I have to admit. So this should be, like, great. Unfortunately, the paint doesn't quite do too well sometimes, so that's a problem. That's like one of the biggest problems about it, really. Like right here. The toe is super light brown, but then the freaking leg is like super dark brown, as you can see. So, I mean, I think in the game his toes are a little lighter, but it drastically changes. There's no shading transition, not too much anyway. I think they tried, but they should have tried a little harder for 40 bucks. But still, it is a really good figure, I'd say. And obviously this figure is based on the Rathalos from the third game and so on after the third game. Like the second game, and you know, when the first game came out with Monster Hunter, the Rathalos was a little skinnier or lankier. His neck was longer, his tail was longer, and he has longer spikes on the ridge of his back. So it's a little different, and plus the pattern's a little different on his wing. But this one is from definitely Monster Hunter 3 and Monster Hunter 4 now. They haven't changed it, I don't think. So it doesn't seem like it. So yeah. Also, one of the other little problems with the paint, I think, is this. See how all these little spikes are colored black? Well, these ones right here and here aren't. I don't know why, but I have a feeling that they aren't colored in the game. Because I've tried over and over hunting the guy over and over to see if that is true or not, and I can't tell because I beat the living crap out of him too fast. He loses part of his wings, so I can't even tell. So, I mean, they look pretty good, and they're actually hard plastic with like these, and that's kind of weird. But yeah, that's the great thing about these wings, though. They're really cool looking. Although they have these weird lines at the base of the body, I have to say that's weird though. But all in all, it is a cool figure, and it is hard to get Monster Hunter figures. If you'd probably know. You probably do know that if you're watching this video. You're probably like, I want to find a cool Rathalos or Monster Hunter figure. Well, this is like the only one that's more convenient. You can buy little statues. There's a lot of those. Kind of like Godzilla stuff. But I don't want a statue. I want a figure that I can pose the way I want to. Which, unfortunately, you can only make a few poses with this, because, you know, the wings aren't foldable or whatever, and a few other things. But you can pose it enough to where you can change it whenever you want, obviously. So, and it looks great on this shelf, by the way. Fantastic. But, yeah, what was I talking about? I done forgot what I was talking about. So I want to talk about the little options you have with the stand. So, as you can see, you can just hook the stand, put the little stand in on that, right there, and then curl the tail because it'll hit the base, and then boom. Unfortunately, at the base of the tail, where it connects, it's a little loose, as you can see. So that's a problem with the base again. It's because of how they did this. I don't know why they didn't just put a hole somewhere or something easier. I have no idea. But it does look pretty cool. I have to say though, I'd say you want to pose the figure like this. You know, have the base going that way instead of the other way, you know, like this. Because if you do it the other way, it won't work. You have to balance this guy perfectly. So that's one option with it. Let's take a look at the other option. Basically, just unplug that again, which I think unplugging this a lot isn't good for the base. So if you want a shorter version of the base, then you just take off that other piece and then my camera ran out of memory there. I had to delete something, but as I was saying, you have to plug it in like normal, then make it bend like a normal joint would do. There we go. Curl his legs a little bit probably, and then boom, you have a shorter base, which in some cases is a good thing. In some cases. And actually making it shorter is a good thing, because then it will not mess up as much. So that's good. You know, not as wobbly. But making it where it doesn't look like he's flying as much. So that sucks a little. So that's like the problem with the bases. By the way, you can put these pieces inside the little box. And of course, you have to take it apart, but yeah, you can apparently. So let's take a look at the severed tail and the, I guess, the fire. I haven't done that yet. I'm a little worried that I'll break the tongue, so I think I'll just leave the fire thing alone. But let's take a look at that cool tail thing. Here we have the severed... Whoa, haha, that was close. Here we have the severed tail piece, as you can see. It might look kind of good on my camera because it's blurry, but that's because you can't tell the detail. It's not the worst looking paint, but it's kind of funny looking, so... but I mean, it's a cool little gimmick, so... also, when you take off the tail, the end of the tail piece right here, this little piece will pop off too. It's basically this is replacing this. So, yeah. You want to be careful not to lose that. So, let's take a look at that. Cool. Does look like it's chopped off. And there's this. And boom. He done sliced his tail off. Waha! I'm the best hunter ever. I got a freaking tail that is like as big as me, which is definitely not accurate to the game. I know that. The hunter is definitely gonna be bigger than that. I mean, not as big as the tail piece, but I know the hunters are a little bigger. This is out of scale a little, which is a problem with having the little guy in there anyway. They should have made him a tad bigger, just cause, well, you know, you want to make it kind of accurate. But at least the figure itself is good. I mean, obviously they don't want to take too much time out of their hands to make a tiny little figurine so accurate that it outshines the actual figure. But it would have been nice just to have a little better little guy. But either way. It's still kind of cool having the little guy. And yes, sometimes you might fight a bigger version of a Rathalos. You know, There's smaller ones and bigger ones. And yeah, that sometimes happens, but I don't know if they get this big. I don't think they do. But they do get pretty big, and that's pretty weird and cool when they do that, because it makes it different a little. So yeah. Anyway, so that's the tail piece apparently. That's pretty cool. So let's, I guess we could try the fire. Okay, I'm doing this. Which, by the way, it's hard to get the tongue to move. Here's the tongue. It is hard to see. You just pop that out, and now he doesn't have a tongue. That'd be weird if you can actually cut out their tongues in the game. That would be gross too. Well, that looks pretty cool. You gotta position it right though, because it can swivel a little. See, like you could swivel the fire inside his mouth and make it like that. That looks weird. But yeah, look at that. Yes, his signature move after he roars, actually, he fucking, sorry about that, I cursed a little. But he freaking, launches a fireball at you after he roars sometimes. That's a little tactic that the Rathalos particularly does. So, that looks pretty cool, a severed tail and a fireball. That's pretty cool looking, so, yeah, very nice. I like that, actually. And I'm sure that's going to make it a little harder to pose the guy, though. Where did I put the tongue? Oh, it's right here. Oh, thank God. This is something that's probably the most thing that you'll probably definitely lose if you leave it somewhere like I did just now. Size comparison time, I almost forgot. Okay, so let's see. This is the Rathalos when he is, you know, on his short base, okay? So this is probably the thing you're gonna do most of the time. So, let's get the Predator from Revoltech, since it is from Revoltech. Yeah. And the Predator is a slight cross position, but as you can see, the Rathalos is pretty small because, I mean, this figure is already kind of short. So, yeah, a little small, on the small side for a monster. And then we have the NECA aliens, you know, Bishop from Aliens, which is definitely cool. As you can see, the Revoltech Rathalos is a little taller actually at the moment, but it's still a small figure. That's the problem, or at least it's not a huge problem, but yeah. And here's Godzilla versus Rathalos. Yeah, NECA Godzilla. Definitely taking pictures with there. But yeah, as you can see, Godzilla's definitely shorter, and he is shorter than most NECA figures actually. What the heck? Why is Bishop so short? Okay, this is weird. I guess aliens and maybe the people are a little the same size as Godzilla. I didn't even know this. Either way. So, there we go. That's basically the size comparison. And that's basically the end of the review. But let's talk a little bit more. Why don't we? So, here we go with this stuff. So, let's find out what about those boxes. So here's the little Revoltech box from the guy, and oh, I see. Look at that. You could totally stack them, but that leaves one problem. Yep, the freaking top. I mean, where are you gonna put all these tops? You can't stack that. Blech. But it is true. You can stack these, and that's what I'm totally doing. I'm gonna totally do that because that's very useful. So you don't have to worry about it falling together or something. I don't know. But you can stack them. But you gotta take off the top first on the bottom ones. So yeah, I didn't know you could do that. So now, yay! I learned something, and hopefully you guys did too. If you didn't know about that, which you probably did. So yeah, that's cool. Also Suicune. That's cool too. So here's the decrepit head I made a long time ago. As you can see, it's very accurate to the game. Inaccurate as heck. But I tried. As you can see, the eyeball can move, but you need something to do that. Like a toothpick. And the mouth can actually open and close a little. I was really happy about this, and yeah, I'm definitely gonna keep this decrepit head because it's cool. Okay, but this is bigger than the freaking figure. This is like the size of the figure. So let's talk about other types of Monster Hunter figures. Okay, I only have 3 minutes. So the other figure I want to talk about is the Hi-blits Rathalos. It is a bigger figure. It's probably more consistent in paint, and it has very good detail. The one thing I did notice that this figure is better at is definitely, I gotta zoom in, and definitely it is that his wings are textured. The older Hi-blits Rathalos, which is a company, Hi-blits by the way, the wings aren't textured, but the color is very nice, I have to say. It's shaded very well, but it's sort of bland. So that's like one thing that this figure gets right. So I would highly suggest you go look for that too. Try to decide which one you want to get. And this guy is pretty cool. But someone reviewed it. He's called, I do believe his name is Hamster Bomb. And he just reviewed the new, Hi-blits Rathalos, and he did it very well. He got all the details, he got what's good and bad about it, which no one really has actually talked about what's really bad about it. So he did really good, and he has some pretty nice shots in there of it. So please, I'm going to put them in the description below. Check that figure out. If you are looking for a bigger Rathalos figure, that would be the best. And it's based on the original Monster Hunter games, like 1 and 2, because that's what he was. He was a little different looking back then. So yes, this is our generation version. So yeah, but I highly suggest you check that out. And by the way, all these figures will be expensive. I mean, if you can find this guy for a pretty good cheap amount, try to get him, I'd say. And plus, since he is small, it's not too much of a big deal. But since he is small, that's actually good, because then you have a little more room for these guys. By the way, these guys made as an ogre too. So yeah, that's good. I only have 50 seconds left. So I guess that is the end of my review. I guess. I didn't want to end it yet, but damn, stupid time limit. Unfortunately, this video will probably last about 20 minutes. I don't like doing that. But I will have to say goodbye now. And also, so go check out Hamster Bomb's review of that and decide which one you want to get if you're wanting to get it. It's about the... I almost got the Hi-blits Rathalos for 200 bucks, but I couldn't get it. So yes, go check him out. freaking get Monster Hunter 4 and tell me if you want to play, because I will play with you. God damn it. So, thank you for watching, and see you later. Go, Suicune! Get him! Kill him! Ah! Damn it! Dragons always win. The Rathalos is like Charizard if he lost a little weight. And also lost his arms. So yeah. Yeah. Anyway.